When two worlds combine, it sparks into existence a brand new life of clarity and cosmic insight. This is the truest form of alchemy. Join Becky, Gregory, and Hillis Pugh on Cosmic Insight, only on Real Revolution Radio X.
Well, hello, Cosmic Explorers. This is Rebecka Gregory here with Cosmic Insight, and I'm here with my fabulous co-creator.
I'm Hillis Pugh, and welcome, Cosmic Explorers, to another edition of Cosmic Insight. And today's guest is Earth.
Yes, and we should have pre-recorded, Hillis, what just happened with my little breakdown, my little spiraling of getting situated for the show, because we are in this new moon energy, and I don't know about you. Have you been spiraling today?
You know, I've got a lot of really insightful information today and in the past week of my life. You know, it's interesting in how sensitive empaths, people that do this work, are really in tune with these energies, and sometimes we could just go bonkers. It's amazing times we're living in, you know, beautiful times. And speaking of beautiful times with, you know, Aquarian energy, new moon energy, and galactic calendar energy, and all this energy just makes me dizzy.
Yeah, I can't keep up with it anymore. I'm just like, I just need to focus on me and my energy right now, because I don't know about you, you know, and I guess a lot of listeners out there, and I want to say this too. If you know, Hillis and I started this show together, you know, starting at the end of last year, moving into this year and moving forward. So, you know, I really want to open up, you know, we're here for you guys. That's why we started the show. We said on the first one we did together, but, you know, please email us or send us information if you want us to get somebody as a guest, or there's something you really like to know about, or something you're struggling with that you like information to help move forward, because you know we are in this together, you know, moving through what is happening in our humanity right now in this great shift, or should I say the great shit show, and moving into the great shift of all. So who knows? But anyhow, I just wanted to reach out and just say that, you know, that we're here just as beacons for you guys. So let us know, you know, what you want to hear, what you'd like to see, what information that you really require right now. So do you want to add to that, Hillis? I just kind of jumped into that.
No, actually, that's perfect, because I was thinking the same thing, because, you know, we are in the beginnings of this new energy, and people are in this infancy of adjustment. And so what does that look like? You know, it's a baby throwing a temper tantrum, and that's what we're in right now. We're all throwing temper tantrums on some level. And so when you're throwing a temper tantrum, it's either one, to get attention; two, because you have no idea what's going on; or three, you just want help and don't know how to get it, or how to ask for it, or step into it. And so when we are in this infancy of these new energies and this adjusting, you know, just think of as any baby that's being born, and think of that, and think of how you want to be supported in that, because, you know, that's part of what we do as medicine people, and shamans, and light workers, and energy facilitators, and transmuters of all there is. That's what we do. And so it's in that is so much gratification.
Yes,
We're here.
we're here. We're moving it with you together. So, and I did say shit show, and I didn't mean that literally, the shit show, because it's just, that was just, you know, this expansion of just letting go of, you know, I meant by that is just, I know for myself and what I've been going through is just this huge expansion of really drilling down at a whole nother level. We talked about it earlier today, of who I am and not knowing who I am. And it's just like, and it's just like, I'm in this, like, I don't know about you, Hillis, but just in this space of, I know who I am or who I was. I'm feeling into what I desire right now. And really stalking myself at another level that I've never done before, of getting more like fine tuning that and knowing, and then also this knowing, this feeling of being that way shower and moving into the new energy that is coming ahead, but being in this space here at this time. So it's just like this a huge, just like, I mean, I was sitting with my energy today and it was literally just like this is what I could feel, just going in and out and moving through that, and uh just feeling into the emotions that are coming up. And it's not, and for me it's like I've been rolling through a lot of stuff, but it's like at a different level. Are you feeling the same thing? It's like a level where, like the old stuff's gone, like it doesn't matter anymore, like what happened to me when I was little. I mean, that, yeah,
Yeah.
fuck, it happened.
Yeah.
I went through it. So what emotions now, or what feeling inside my body is still stuck around that, but the story doesn't matter.
Right.
It
Yeah.
what's
Exactly.
what energy do I still that needs to need that I need to make room for now, because it's just not what it's supposed to be now. And what it's supposed to be, I can't question it. I just have to trust and let it unfold and be in the unknown of it, in the knowing that I need to follow what's in my heart with no questions. So that's
That's
kind of where
exactly
I
it.
am.
Yeah. And I mean, the term that you use, shit show. I mean, it is what it is. People label things the way they need to label it, and sometimes when we label things, it's tied to our emotions. And so, if calling it that makes you feel better, then by all means, call it what you need to label it, because that's where the power of the energy resides. It starts off in the body. This energetic manifestation of the emotional space that we're in, and then we just have to label it to give something some responsibility to it. Because when we give a label to it, when we give energy to it, it's that label. So it's like that part of what this is, part of what this trauma is, part of what this experience is, part of what my childhood is, part of what my adulthood is, or some people are now calling it adulting. It's whatever label you put on it to get you comfortable, because we all have to find some comfort, some ease in this. And it's in a space now to where we are completely clueless of where the energy is,
Yeah.
because you know humanity, well, civilization hasn't reached this time before. So as a collective, we are all figuring this out.
Mm-hmm.
I may be a half step ahead or a half step behind of
We're both at the
those
same
around.
time
Yeah,
in
exactly.
whatever, yeah. And that's what I feel. We're like in all those spaces all at once.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And speaking of spaces, last night I had this dream, and then sometimes when I wake up, I forget my dreams, and throughout my day, there are certain triggers that help me to remember what this my dreams. And so that was the case today. I totally forgot my dream when I woke up, but I was
Mhm.
triggered today by an experience that helped me to remember the dream. And so I was in my dream. I was in this my sacred space, and I see my altar with my crystals. But it was a little bit different as opposed to rectangular shape. It was almost like a half moon shape, and I was approaching the altar from behind. So I was seeing the crescent, the outside of the moon, like,
Mhm.
first, and I'm walking in, and I noticed this guy here, which is a black Andorra,
Get
oops,
up. Yeah. Yeah.
a black Andorra crystal.
See, you're having trouble too.
Yeah, and it's black. And so it's just a reflection of the light. And so so this particular crystal here is a black Ilium crystal or black Andorra crystal. And I noticed that it's like, why am I noticing this out of all the others? And I have a lot of crystals on my altar. And I'm like, why is this one so in particular? And so when I paused and took maybe about 5-minute meditation to understand what was the purpose of this. Is to really help me to step out of my fear, to really step into me being who I am, to really allow myself to release that fear and be the light in the dark and embrace that. And I say that for everyone who's watching because now is the time for us to let go of using don't swear, but let go of that shit. Let it all go. Because as you said before, what good is it doing us now, especially in this new energy?
Yeah. So what came to me while you were saying that is be the reflection in the world, not the projection of what was.
Yes. And speaking of overcoming fears,
I think
I
you
want
did one this week, did you?
I did. And it all started, this particular fear of height, all started when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to dreams, I remember having this reoccurring dream to where I would uh, jump or fall over my second floor balcony. I was maybe about 5 years old at the time. And I would just keep falling and falling and falling and falling. And then I wouldn't hit anything. I would just infinitely fall. And I would wake up and then that would be it. And so this was a reoccurring dream of mine. And I really didn't know what the message was behind it. And so that began my fear of heights. I mean, I could sit in a plane, I could travel, I'll be fine. But if I am like in a 4, 5, 6 or higher floor building and I'm looking straight out, I'm okay. But if I look down, don't touch me, don't move me, don't do
Mm-hmm.
anything. And that was just let me be in my space. And I'm like, what's the craziest thing that I could do to overcome this fear of heights? What's the craziest thing
What
I
is
could
it?
do? Skydiving.
Ah!
And so this has been on my bucket list for quite some time to overcome this fear of heights by way of skydiving. And so this weekend, this past weekend, I went skydiving to overcome this fear of heights. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing? What am I getting myself into? And luckily, my neighbor, he's been skydiving almost 50 times. And he's like, oh my God, you want to go skydiving? I'm like, yeah, all hesitantly. And so we drive about an hour and a half away to go skydiving. Go through the whole process of register and take this 20-minute class and make safety class and blah, blah, blah. And so it comes time to get ready to go skydiving. The guy, you know, and this is a tandem. I'm not doing this by myself. I'm not a pro to do it by
No?
myself. And so this is a tandem. No, not yet. You got to at least have, you have to have, I think it's 3 to 5 dives before you can do it by
Yeah,
yourself.
3 to 5 dives. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah. And so the guy, I really love this person. I'm not naming the name of the place or the individual, just for whatever reason. And so the guy, he puts the harness on me. He's making me super comfortable, making me put it and feel at ease. And so I'm looking at the countdown. It's maybe about 5 minutes before the plane comes in, before we all get on the plane. And so we all get on the plane. I have my harness on. He's strapped to me, and I'm like, okay, all right, what's happening? And we start to go up, 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 up. About 14,000 feet we're up in the air. And by this time, they are what they call fun jumpers, which people have done, 25 or more dives, and they can just dive whenever. And so I'm in the back of this small plane, and I see 6 people jump out at once. They did like this free fall jump. I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? 6 people just fell off the plane. And I'm like, and I'm freaking out. And so then next, it's 3 people that jump. I'm like, what the heck, people? I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, just. And I'm like, okay, 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 okay. And then the instructor, he's like, okay, you're good. Just relax, keeping me at ease. And next thing I know, I'm up next. I'm like, oh God. And my friend who I was with, he said, if you could see the look on your face before you got out that plane, it was
I can
priceless.
feel the look on your face right now as you're explaining this.
And you ever see a person's eyes get really big when
Mhm.
something like that was
You're like
my
a
face.
cartoon character.
Yeah, my eyes were probably twice as big. And so I don't even think there was a countdown.
No,
No, he just like,
go.
yeah, and next thing I know, I'm out of the plane and I'm like screaming my head off. I'm like, ah, just screaming. I'm like free falling for about a minute at 120 miles per hour, right? Screaming my head off. Like, and then he pulled the chute. And I'm like, so this is what life is like up here.
Beautiful. And what was
It
your
was
feeling
one of the
then?
most,
Like
huh?
that release.
Yeah.
It is that release. What did that feel like in that moment of facing that fear and letting go and just like opening and expanding to it?
See, it was terrifying. The free fall was terrifying. I'm am going to, it was exhilarating and terrifying at the same time because all these thoughts run through your head. I'm like, what is happening? What am I doing? Am I crazy? And all these thoughts, because those who have done this, 50 and 200 and 400 times, I mean, you're used to it.
My nephew has jumped. What did I tell you the other day? Like over
4,300.
4,300 times. He does it. That's like what he does. That's his life. That's his joy. So, yeah.
But the feeling that when the shoe opened, it was bliss. And the analogy was that no matter how fast or how hard you fall, there's always something there to catch you. And that was like it for me. Like I am floating through this divine space. I'm floating in the sky, looking at everything. And I was at peace until he started doing these turns. I'm like, roller coaster ride. Like he's doing all these little maneuvers. And I'm like, okay, all right. And so when I finally landed, it was like, yeah, I did it.
Awesome. So you actually just went through experiencing what everybody's experiencing right now of jumping into the fear, going through the new world and the new energy and shifting and changing and getting yourself knocked off track for a second and coming back. So what a beautiful analogy for everyone tonight to experience your skydiving extravaganza facing your fear.
And I think that's what we're all in right now. We're all in this space of really comprehending what this is that we're moving through and coming to understanding and accepting what this is we're moving through because it's different than what we've ever known before
Yes.
as a collective humanity. I mean, it's unprecedented. And I know that word has been overused a lot lately, but I can say that with confidence that this time here on this planet is unprecedented. We have never reached this far as a point in humanity before. I mean, people talk about the great civilizations,
Yeah.
not
We're
lands,
in a new
but civilizations of Lemuria and Atlantis. They got to where we were before the winter solstice. They got up to great heights of balancing, masculine, feminine, and this
Mhm.
technology and all of this other stuff. Then things went out of whack. Things that got out of balance, and off they went.
Off
You
they
know.
went. And we've been out of balance for so long. We're moving into that feminine energy to find that balance, coming into this new wave, the minds we've talked about Carl a couple of weeks ago, the 9 waves. We're coming into that 9th wave, simultaneously working with all the other waves at the same time. So it's like, sure, it's just really, and I find for myself, I found this week, I'm going to be completely honest, it's been a little challenging for me since the new year. I've been in this, like, I don't know, it's just this experience of just so much at one time, but been kind of in a cave, I guess you could say. And I've had, I've really learned that right now it's really going into the silence and being quiet in a way, but we could take action as well when we're and being in the silence at the same time. I had I've been dealing with this knee problem that popped up in my dreams, and we've been unraveling. It's been a thing, but I know it's a multi-level thing stemming from a lot of stuff, and it's just moving and shifting. But I did for me, it wasn't even fear, but I guess facing challenge and looking at something that I've kind of been holding on of moving forward. When things get tough, sometimes I might retreat back and settle in. So I pushed myself to go for a walk one day on my knee, and I had my little walking sticks for the trails. And I remember walking along, and all of a sudden, just my knee like shifted all of a sudden, and just the pain. I was just like, I literally screamed out. It was just like and I was like, and I wanted to stop there. I'm like, no, it's too much. And I was just that feeling of the hesitation where sometimes it gets too much, we get overwhelmed, we want to stop. But I sat down, and of course I sit down on a log that had a lion's mane mushroom like on the front of it. And with my friend, he loves to collect mushrooms. Just her eyes were like bugging out. I could feel her energy, like, oh, a lion's mane. And I remember just sitting there, and she just held space for me, and I just composed myself. I felt into the pain in that moment. I allowed it to express what it needed to express. And I just breathed into it and went into the silence of me just for a few minutes, and I was going to turn back, and I was like, no, you got to keep on going this time. It's not time to turn. We can't turn back anymore. It's time we just can't turn back anymore. It's not in the back. It's not in the past. We need to move forward. And then that was kind of message. It was for myself. I'm just saying with everyone here.
Maybe.
And so I got up, and I just kept on going. And and every step, it was still a little sore, but I managed to work through it, and I just kept on going. I was up and down the hills, and then I'm walking along, and I received some magic. So I'm walking along, and I looked in the woods off the path, and my friend collects things as well. And I'm like, oh, I was like, is that a skull? And she's like, I don't know. Let me go see. So she hikes in the woods, and it was a raccoon skull.
Oh my God.
Like, when do you find a skull of an animal? And, being working with nature the way I do and the animals. So that was just such a gift to me to be given that, almost like, you got this, so I guess the other thing, and then later on, parallel to where kind of we found that skull, we walked around, she found the skull of an ibis.
What?
Yes. So it's like, we even though we're in this challenging time and all these things are happening, to stay in that silence, to move forward, but to be in your space, and the magic is there, and we are being held, even though it might not feel, and we might be feeling the pain and the chaos around us. I guess that's what I needed to say.
Yeah, I think so. And what's fascinating about this, and what I want to pick your brain about it a little bit more, is when you talked about shifting through the pain. I mean, I know you said that you had to do it and really allow that to happen, but the power in that is about the shift, about being completely aware that, yeah, something's wrong, something's not right, but what can I do within me to shift? So I want you to go in and maybe elaborate a little bit more about that process, what it was like for you, because I know on some level, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, we're all experiencing that for the pain.
Yeah, and that's what it's about, on whatever level it's on, mental, emotion, it's all the same. It's all the same, and it's all about going in. So I'll just go into the experience of what I went in that moment. And I do this all the time. It's once going in yourself and being silent and really just allowing yourself, wherever that discord is, I guess you could say, or that disturbance, that's out of balance, because that's all it is. Pain or whatever is, it's just being out of balance. And our body is out of balance when it's speaking to us about something else that in our lives on another level. So it's like it all works together, it all talks together, but we have to learn the signs and the symbols to listen. And that's to listen when that comes up. so we can move through that. So in that moment, and I do this all the time whenever I get pain, I literally just stopped, sat, breathed, and I felt into it. And I just kind of asked it what it was going on, what I needed to, release it, and just breathed with it. And I surrendered and opened to it in in that moment, that I don't need to be. And pain is just an illusion. It's something we tell ourselves we have to feel here. And we really don't have to feel pain. We are just so conditioned to be in the world of pain and suffering.
Yeah, you hit on two things.
So yeah,
Um,
breathing through it and allowing it to step in. I love water as a great element, to be the flow of the water and just open the dam. It's just like a dam gets stuck.
yeah,
So in that moment, I was able, to do that. So I hope that helped explain what you were asking me.
yeah, it does. And what it opened up to is when you said that pain is an illusion, and we feel into this, and so it goes back to the conditioned learning that we have, the mental faculties, of the body, because we feel this, we feel this, we feel all of this, but any other sensation, physical, mental, whatever, emotional, is all experienced. And those experiences register in our memory, in our mind, in ourselves. And so we relate or tie in these experiences of what was felt, to give it a label, to process, to understand, for us to really know what this is. And so when we step out of that experience, what does it become?
Yes. And to know too, in saying that, Hillis, and feeling, you know, work, as I was saying before, all parts working together. That experience is just the other levels and layers of us. When it gets all the way down to the physical part of us, it's all those other levels speaking to us, and we're not listening. So it gets down to something
The
we can
concrete.
concrete. Like, you're not listening, so you're getting a slap on your hand, because you don't want to see it, and
Yeah.
it's that, yeah, that ego part, and just getting out of, the labels of everything. That you keep on saying labels, so it's like keeps on. That's been something that's been spiraling me. Like, I was driving to St. Augustine the other day, because that's just my favorite place to drive. I drive down there all the
Yeah.
time. It's my getaway, my little journey away. But I was looking at, labels was really coming to me, how we so anchor into having to have a label on everything.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because it is the soul who is in charge, if you will. It is the soul who gives you this identity that you choose to live with. And yes, having labels makes it easier to go about your day to day, and to put everything in this bucket. But you're just still surrounding yourself with these limitations of these identifications. And so now, being in this new energy, we're all in this chaotic space of letting it all go. And that's what part of this chaos is. That part of this chaos that we're feeling, part of this uncertainty that we're feeling, is the newness being born.
Yes. And what a beautiful thing. I'm so glad we brought up labels, because I think it's a really important topic or subject to discuss right now, because that's our whole labels identification, or, assemblage point, where we've been anchored in of what we've been told we're supposed to be, from what we look like, our skin, or whatever it might be, how we act, what we are married, it's just a whole rabbit hole of shit, but we're so ingrained, we're so, just so, meshed in all that. It's just like a big ball of yarn that's been meshed together, and And now it's all unraveling. So and I've been struggling, that's one of, I guess, the biggest things my whole entire journey that I've been struggling is, what do I label myself? What do I call myself? I've said this before, I started in hypnotherapy and, all the energy work, everything I've done, but I'm always like, people ask, what do you do? And I'm like, I never can really answer, because I'm like, I really I don't have a definition. I can't I resist labeling myself because it's not who my soul is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, I just am who I am. Why do I have to show my credentials, or why do I have to label myself, or, why can't you just look at me, feel the energy of me, feel the vibration that you vibrate with me, and know that I can help guide you and assist you on where you want to go.
Yes, just like, and like I said, in the previous show with Sherry,
Yeah.
watching Lovecraft, that
I
one
finally got to that
episode.
one, huh?
Yeah, I love that episode because it's like, when she says name yourself.
Yeah. And I think, and yeah, and that's all what we need to do. I really feel that's the little pivotal point that we are all exploring right now,
Yeah.
is just taking that yarn and dragging it out, and just looking at every piece. As I was saying earlier, when we were recording that show with Sherry, even at a cookie, like, do I really like chocolate? Do I really like, oh no, I'm back to the cookies again. You're going to have the cookies. I don't know why. I might be hungry. But I know it sounds silly, but it's to that point of us. Like and it's, it's not only, people we come in contact and belief systems we talk, but also it's also the environment we live in, the energies around us, what we're eating and the shit they put in our food. And so it's just this whole conglomeration of
Of
everything,
stuff.
of stuff. And it's time that we all say, enough is enough
Of this stuff.
of this stuff, because this isn't who we truly are. And we have the opportunity now to be in a space to make that shift.
Yeah. And I am being guided to share this personal experience. I haven't talked about it in quite some time, but I'm being asked to share this. Is After my mom passed,
Mm-hmm.
there was a moment I was going through her stuff. And you really never know anyone, not even your parents,
Mm-hmm.
until after they passed. So after they made the transition. And I say that because my mom and I were very close. We had our rough patches, here and there, but my mom and I were close. And I knew, you know, my mom was going through stuff, but what person isn't? But it wasn't until when I started going through her room, you know, opened up her journal and saw some of the things that she wrote and how depressed and sad she was, and how much she wanted to change her life and how much she wanted her life to be better and how much she was holding on to the past, because that's when life was good for her. When I was a kid, and one of the things that I kept was a jewelry box. It was a music
Mm-hmm.
jewelry box. It had a little unicorn on the front, and every now and again I wind it up. But what was in it was some of the stuff I gave her when I was a kid, and I know that for me was my keepsake
Mm-hmm.
from her. But I say all of that to say that, my mom, she was experiencing all the stuff, trying to find who she was, and she never really found who she was. And, it's, and I say that because it's a little heartbreaking
Mm-hmm.
because, my mom was 60 when she passed, and she never really found who she was.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that story. And I feel you right now. And yeah, thank you for showing your heart here, because that's what it's all about. But
Yeah.
I can't relate to you because I unfortunately both of my parents are still alive in that the passing. But I can say I've noticed I think that generation, my parents, I don't know how old that one's 80, and it doesn't matter. But that generation are so stuck in that, because I look at both of my parents and I see how they're so stuck in like the past and the guilt and the shame, and they just hold on to it so much. And I'm just like, and so I can totally relate to that age, that being in that space of not, and how it is. It's heartbreaking for me. As I said, I can't relate to you not having my parents here physically, but for me, from the heart, it breaks my heart with my parents that they can't see that they can let go of this. Like they don't believe they can let go and find themselves. It's like, "No, this is what I was dealt, and I have to deal with it until I pass."
Yeah. And what I'm
Yeah.
appreciating about, today's generation is that they are on a journey of finding themselves, no matter how long it takes. Taking my sister, who I've only met almost 5, maybe 6 years now. Jeez. And she went through a period of finding herself, and she's still finding herself. She's almost 30, and she went through a couple of jobs. Like, no, I don't want that job. No, I don't want that job. I don't. So it's like this whole space, and now she's, a mom, and it's like, okay, who is she now? So going back to the whole labels thing, it's these cultural and societal things that we place on each other. Not saying that mom isn't, you know, a label, but it's
It is.
also it is, but I mean, and then maybe it's the wrong example, but a mother is a mother,
Mhm.
period. You have Mother Earth, you have this, that, but when you are stepping through, looking for something to identify with, when you're looking for something to connect to, allow your soul to guide you, allow your ego or your mind to step out of the way to allow that to happen, because that's what really needs to happen. Because we are now in this most sensitive birthing period.
Mhm.
Because we're giving birth right now.
Woo! All you men thought you out there didn't know what it's like to give birth. No. But I love
Look,
the word earth. I don't know if you know this, but if you take the word earth and talking about the mother and where we are right now and the energies, so you take the word earth and you take the H off the end and bring it to the front, you have heart. So Mother Earth, in her word that she was given of what she is, the label she was giving as earth, is the formula in the heart of where we need to be right now to save humanity.
indeed. And there's
We
definitely a
were
lot of
given it.
mother energy.
Yes, we were given it. We've always had the answer. We've just chose to stay in the lies and not see the truth of it.
Yeah, because
Because
that
it's smart.
sometimes it's so much easier to deal with, to
Yes,
accept.
yes. So I always love that. Did you know that one?
No, I didn't, but I should, being a word person that I am.
You mean me? I got one up on you. Woohoo! No,
Yeah, you did.
I always throw out a zinger every once in a while.
Yeah.
No, but I really do love that. I've always remembered that. I learned that years ago. It was, I don't know where I learned, I picked it up, but it always stuck with me because it is the truth. It is the
Yeah.
truth being in our heart.
Yeah.
So being in this, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Being in where we are now and everything that's going on and the journey you've been on of looking at things. And so just from like the new year, who do you want to be now? How do you want to show up now?
Oh my goodness. That's a huge
Well, you could
question.
go like we could just do like a little like the
Well,
first thing that's on top of your head.
oh, with the new information that I've received in the past week and a half about myself, about overcoming my fear, about the the trueness the authentic soul, the authentic light that I am, I just want to be that. I mean, there's no better way to be than just that. And I mean, and shedding all of the old is an experience
Mm-hmm.
to get to that. And I'm going to say firsthand, that we've all experienced the multi-layered trauma, shame, guilt, all the multi-layered negative, lower vibrating energies. We've all experienced that. And so people always often talk about, peeling back the layers of an onion, right? That's the reference that
But
people use.
that onion's rotten now.
Yeah, exactly. I
Time to
mean, it has
throw
no
it
choice
away.
right. It has no choice but to fall off. I mean, you get to a point, I'm like, okay, I'm just dead. And so, there's always something to uncover
Mm-hmm.
about yourself, especially when you have this idea or label about you. So, going to the authentic self, the true self. And the only way to do that is really connect to your soul, to these energies that are present now. I mean, you look at our logo behind us, Metatron's Cube. I mean, the geometric shapes and patterns. Signs show up everywhere to assist us, to guide us
Mm-hmm.
on the path that we are on. Just like this piece that went around my neck, with the star sapphire and the moonstone with Atlantean inscribings on it. I mean, we all, and just like my love for dragons and your love for dragons, like all these things we identify with
Mm-hmm.
to bring us closer to the authentic self of who we are. So I guess what I'm saying is that find things that you identify with, but don't attach to them. And I know what I'm saying because I've grown to attach to certain things and identities, but now that's beginning to fall away, the attachment of those things to understanding that yes, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And so yeah, just live in that, as you said, before, live in the earth and live in the heart because that's the center of all things.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
I'm gonna ask
I
you.
was like, we should change our podcast to just us. What was it? What was Will and Greg? Just Jack.
Oh yeah, just us.
So Jack had it right. Just Jack.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm gonna ask you the same question.
Oh, I knew you were going to do that. So, whew, well, I think how I want to
I
be.
feel.
I feel. Oh, yeah, that's right. I can't say think. I feel I want to be in this world going forward. In my human experience, experiencing all that I can and living the life from my heart and flowing with all that I can. To know the past doesn't mean anything. To know that all the labels I've taken on don't mean anything. And to go back to the innocence and the curiosity I used to have as a child and start to see through those eyes more, to have fun and play and enjoy, not get so caught up on the mundane, but to enjoy, experience, flow, and step into the things I really love that really resonate in my heart, such as my drawing and my painting, and just flowing with that and figuring
Yeah,
out, not even figuring out, opening to the experience of being who I truly am and
yeah,
and letting go of the fear that it doesn't matter that I guess in the knowingness that I can do that. And I don't have to listen to anyone who says otherwise.
Yeah, I love that.
And how that looks right now, I'm still figuring that out. I'm still moving through that, but I know I'm moving into that. I just want to explore and have fun and enjoy this human experience and not get so caught up on all the shit. That's my word today. I don't know why it keeps on popping up.
Yeah,
Or the
yeah,
labels, or whatever I've
all
been
that stuff.
conditioned, all the things I anchor into, and just unraveling all that. That it really, in the grand scheme of everything, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And I
And
think this
so,
is,
hmm?
no, go ahead.
No, and so when I ever decide to leave this earth plane, or they decide that it's time for me to move on, whichever comes first, uh, you know, um, that I can say I lived the experience of the human experience. And I went through the experience of pain. I went through the experience of anger. I went through the experience of shame. I went through the experience of not good enough. I went through I went through all these experiences. In the same time, I learned how to be who I truly am. But I went through what I signed up for to move through that, to know this is where I want to be. That experience was something that no longer has to be, but it was part of being here, experiencing density and polarity. But now I graduated from human school.
Ho.
Hold to that. Graduated.
And I think that's a good transition into, you know, uh, what we're going to do next.
What are we
And I
doing?
think that you should pull a card first before we get into your magnificent sound, because I think that will help guide
Okay,
the
so I just
people.
got these the mind cards. You want me to call one of those?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, I haven't really worked with these too much, and I usually just read the books for these. So, but I'll see what energy. So the energy. It's throwing me out of journey.
Just pick the first one.
Jen. So interesting. So, well, I guess they all kind of fit together.
Oh
So
no, just show me the first one.
I know, but
Oh,
this is how I do cards. I get a journey. So Chen,
oh.
which is the energy. I'm gonna have to get the book out, people. But anyway, the rest of them is kind of interesting. So it's just kind of like, what filters are you seeing through? So there's different levels of this, and the number. I can't. What's the number? Anyway, greater cycles came up. So how we're cycling through that realm shift came up, and transparency. So it's kind of interesting what we've been talking about. And then let me get the cheat sheet here, because I'm still learning these cards and all the different cycles. And let's see. So this one, Chen, is so. So the energy, this star glyph is about which one am I looking at? Oh, I am reading the white one. Innocence, spontaneity, healing inner child, humor, artistry, monkey, trickster, desperation, transparency, and divine child.
That speaks
And
for
that,
itself, and I think that's the energy.
and I'm
That
gonna read
is.
this one too. So this is the one that came out at the end, and they're all the. Oh God, Lord, I can't do this thing. So the ox energy of this star glyph is heart, breakthrough, new beginnings, relationships, companions of destiny, issues of the emotional body, recasting the past, spiritual strength, guardians and guides, authenticity. So exactly what we both were just talking about was all summed up
Exactly.
with cards that came out. So one was for you and one was for me.
Yes. And so
And for everyone
now,
else out there. And
yes,
and
exactly.
the filters that are coming through. And so okay, because I can't add. So the last card, remember I told you the number card and I couldn't figure it out,
Yep.
is 13, which is universal movement. So the wild card, unforeseen forces, unexpected change, expect a miracle, wave wire, flexibility, number sacred to the goddess, frequency, phase shifter.
And that's what we're going to do right now.
I know. So, I love cards. I wouldn't console myself a master reader or anything because I just kind of do my own thing with them. But I just so enjoy them. They're so much fun because they never lie.
So, what we're going to do is, since we're close to the end of this episode, is that Rebecka is going to do sound, do a transmission, and I will do my best to translate this sound and frequency. And before we begin, it's not so much what is said, it's so much about what's being felt. And Rebecka, you can add whatever needs to be. Yeah.
So actually, I'm going to read something. I know we might go, what?
No, it's fine. I don't care.
So I'm going to read this. And I need to put it out there because I've kept this to myself for so long. And it's when Stephen Hawking, anyway, it's this whole download I got. I don't need to go into the story right now. So this is kind of what came to me of what is happening when I do this sound. And I think it'll kind of explain it. And I've never read it to anyone before. And I pulled it out. So it's obviously here for a reason. So this is what came. It does not sound light or even healing. Well, should I say it could be? My dear, it is an expansion of one's molecular, cellular, atomic structure of matter, which I thought didn't exist, however, does. Matter is expandable and moves, shapes, shifts, and redefines. The vibration waves that emit through you are using the measurement of sound waves in congruence with the light waves to reflect, retract, and reposition. Sometimes I can't read my writing. Reposition one's beings to upgrade the vibration of that so-called physical part into a higher vibrational part, prepare the planet to be on an upgrade of consciousness and their ability to, it says, to expression. Using sound voice waves, reflection of the body, reflect into the cells to create a new resonance of beingness, able to function from a different space and time. So anyhow,
I love that.
That's what was given to me. I've never read that except for a few close friends before. So I'm putting it out there, and that's what it is.
That's what it is.
So take that.
Yes.
And I'm buzzing right now.
How shall we prepare to do this? You want people? Yeah.
Okay.
Deep breath.
How long do you want to do this? Or you want me to just do a little bit, or?
Well, feel into it.
We're in the new moon. Okay. So, and you're going to translate?
Yep. I'll do my best to translate when you're done.
After
so that doesn't matter.
Since we're translating, we're running out of time. I'm just going to do a quick little thing. So
no, it doesn't matter. It could be as long as
it's not a quick thing because we can move into a time frame that it could be an hour.
Yeah, it's our show. We can do what we want.
I know we can. Wait, I'm going to put my weird thing on and my head thing I had on earlier. My weird unicorn. Oh, okay, everyone. I've been very playful today. So first of all, I just want to say, really step into your inner child and let it to come out right now, because that's the energy I'm feeling right now. But we're going to see what we get here. So just give me a second. So I want everybody now just to take a deep breath, let their mind drift away, step into their heart, and allow the resonance of you to open and expand and feel. Don't evaluate. Just allow yourself to be.
That was so cool because I just okay.
You're on, Hillis.
During this time, we are preparing you, your bodies, because your souls already know. This time to be connected, to be upgraded into the higher dimensions, the energies that are meant for you, and for you, and for you. For everyone is different. Everyone is different. And pay attention to the signs, as nothing is a coincidence. As you see, as you feel, as you know, this is for you. Clear away the old and allow the new. Thank you for bringing this message forward.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes. I love that. I love that I can do that. I love that you can do that.
Be weird. Wait, put it up. I put it up.
Go ahead.
It's come up. And then we'll end the show. Hold on, let me find it. I'm getting very technical.
Stay weird.
Stay weird, people.
With your rainbow unicorn.
What?
With your rainbow unicorn.
Love it. Love it. I had to bring my inner child out. She really wanted to come out and play.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you, everyone, for this week's episode. Thank you for being a cosmic explorer with us as we dive to more insightful times of transmutation here on this Gaia Terra Tara. This earth energy welcomes you.
Yeah. And once again, thank you for joining us here at Cosmic Insight, being the cosmic explorer of you. And for me, stay in the heart and play and follow your joy and your love, and you will be okay. Mwah.
But heard instead, dear listeners, through podcast radio on realrevolutionradio.com. Never before has inspirational podcast radio been taken to this next level of wow. Until now. Today, in the age of information, more and more people are searching for answers and in solutions in how to better approach and perceive every day-to-day concerns by tuning in to realrevolutionradio.com. Isn't it about time we take back our lives, back in consciousness, in a higher state of awareness, in the evolution of our own state of higher well-being? Yes, we can do so consciously every day by tuning in to the many groundbreaking and third eye opening podcasts. Our new Cleveland-based network of over 33 paradigm shifting internet talk shows. Only on realrevolutionradio.com. Be part of that change. Evolve. Be inspired.